Good evening, students. Okay, so in the last class we discussed about what exactly the matter and what is the constituent of the matter. We studied about that is nothing but atom, and also we studied about how the name of the atom come into the existence, who discovered atom, and we also studied that who gave first idea about the atom. So now, so let's see now the continuation part of this lesson. Now we know matter. Matter is nothing but anything which is having mass, volume and occupies space is called as matter. Now matter is made up of atom. We all know that already. We also studied that how that atom come into the existence. So now this atom, again we already know that this atom consists of subatomic particles, three subatomic particles. Which are those subatomic particles? One is proton, which is positively charged particle, and the electron, which is negatively charged particle, and the neutron, which is neutrally charged particle. We all know that atom consists of these three subatomic particles. So now let's see now so who invented these subatomic particles like proton, electron and neutron is a very interesting thing. So how they find this or discover this subatomic particle in this session. Now the first scientist, whose name is William Crookes. William Crookes is a scientist who started thinking about, can electricity pass through gas? He started thinking about that, can we pass electric current through the gas? To check this, what he did, he took a glass tube which is fitted with a vacuum pump, which is fitted with a vacuum pump. What he did, he took an empty glass tube with an vacuum pump which is connected to the vacuum pump, an outlet which is connected to the vacuum pump. Now what he did, he connected the two electrodes within this glass tube. So electrodes are nothing but these are the metallic plates. They are just metallic plates which are used to pass electric current. Keep it in mind, metallic electrodes are nothing but they are just metallic plates which are used to pass electric current. Out of these two electrodes, one is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. This electrode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. We know that battery is having two terminals. One is positive terminal and other one is negative terminal. So one of the electrode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and the other electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Now, so what we call for the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. The electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as anode, which is called as anode. And the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, what we call for the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is nothing but cathode. Keep it in mind, just water electrodes. The electrodes are just metallic plates which are used to pass electric current. These two electrodes are connected to the two terminals of the battery. One is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, which is called as anode, and the other electrode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, which is called as cathode. I hope you understood what is exactly the anode and cathode. They are just electrode which are connected to the two different terminals of the battery. Now what he did, he filled the glass tube completely with the helium gas. He filled the gas completely with the helium gas. In the beginning, okay, now before that, let's see why he selected helium gas only. There are so many gases around us, but he selected only the helium gas. Why he selected the helium gas? Because it is an inert gas. It is an inert gas. Inert means not react. This gas will not react with any other element. Since we used inside the glass tube two metallic plates, sometimes if we use any other gases apart from this inert gas, the gases may react with these two electrodes. That is why only helium gas is used. Now what happens? After using this helium gas, he started observing, he started passing electric current. He did not observe anything in the glass tube. But later what he did, he started increasing the voltage up to 10,000 volt. He started increasing the voltage up to 10,000 volt. When he increased the 10,000 volt also, he did not observe anything. Very high voltage. This is called as very high voltage. We also called it 10 kV, kilowatt also, or 10,000 volt also we can call. So now what he started doing, he started removing some amount of gases through the vacuum pump. When he reached around 0.001 atmospheric pressure, at this pressure, very low pressure and high voltage, keep it in mind, at very low pressure and high voltage, he observed some of the rays which are traveling from cathode to anode. He was very happy with this because he understood that at very high voltage and very low pressure, almost this complete gas is in under vacuum condition. So now he understood at very low pressure and at very high voltage if we supply, we can pass electric current through air. Through air. That is what he found, that he is nothing but William Crookes. He is nothing but William Crookes. He is a scientist, one who found you can pass electric current even through gas at very low pressure and around 10,000 volt means high voltage, we can pass electric current, that shown by a scientist named William Crookes. I hope you understood now. Now once the William Crookes has introduced found this we can pass electric current through air also, but at very low pressure and high voltage, he was very happy and he stopped the experiment there itself. Now the another scientist whose name is J.J. Thomson, Professor J.J. Thomson, he was very curious about those rays. What exactly those rays consist of? He wants to study about the properties of those rays, why those rays are emerged. Like that he started thinking. Now what he did, he also took a glass tube which is connected to a vacuum pump. As William Crook, he also took a glass tube and which is connected to the vacuum pump. Now he also connected the two electrodes. As we already discussed, electrodes are nothing but they are just metallic rods or metallic plates which are used to pass electric current, and he connected to a battery, and the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, as we already discussed, it is anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, as we discussed already, is called as cathode. Now he also filled the cylinder or glass tube with helium gas, and he also increased the voltage up to 10,000 volt, and also he reduced the pressure around 0.01 atmospheric pressure. As William Crook, what he observed at this condition means at high voltage and low pressure, William Crook observed some rays which are emerged from cathode and they started move towards the anode. As William Crook, J.J. Thomson also observed some rays which are emitted from cathode and they are moving towards anode. But he wants to know what is the characteristics of these rays, why these rays are emerging, what exactly these rays are consist of. To know the characteristics of this rays, what he did, he connected two more electrodes on either side of the glass tube, outside, not inside. He connected two more electrodes on outside of this glass tube. One is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and other one is connected to the negative terminal of the other battery. As we already know that the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode. As we already know that the rays were moving from cathode to anode in straight line. The moment when he connected these two external electrodes, what he observed is that instead of rays traveling in a straight line, the rays started bending towards the anode. Try to understand here. Anode means positively charged. This electrode is completely positively charged, and these rays are attracting towards this electrode. Dear students, try to keep it in mind. As we already studied, the oppositely charged particles are always attract each other. Oppositely charged particles are always attract each other. Keep it in mind. Means always negatively charged particle attract towards the positively charged particle, or the positively charged particle always attract towards the negatively charged particle in the nature. So just try to understand here. Since this electrode is positively charged and these rays are attracted towards this positively charged, in the sense what exactly this rays made up of? Absolutely correct. These rays must be negatively charged. Why? Because as I already told, these rays are attracting towards the anode. What is anode? Which is positively charged electrode. The electrode completely filled with the positively charged, and now since these rays are attracting towards this anode, the J.J. Thomson concluded that These rays are emitting due to presence of negatively charged particle. Or he also said that in another way, he said that these rays are consist of negatively charged particle. And finally, he named that negatively charged particle as electron. He concluded that the negatively charged particle is nothing but electron. And this is a story how exactly that discovery of electrons and who discovered electrons. Since the rays are emitting from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode, just keep it in mind, the rays are emitting from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode. He called this experiment as cathode ray experiment. The ray is called as cathode ray and the experiment is conducted to produce the cathode ray. That's why we called it as cathode ray experiment. What is cathode? The ray which consists of negatively charged particle. I hope you understood, dear student. The ray which consists of negatively charged particle is called as cathode ray. Is called as cathode ray. I hope you understood how electron is discovered and who discovered electrons. And if they ask you which experiment is conducted for the discovery of electron, is nothing but cathode ray experiment. And who discovered electron means J.J. Thomson. J.J. Thomson discovered electron. And what are cathode rays? If they ask you, the cathode rays are nothing but these are all rays which consist of negatively charged particle. And what is cathode means? The electrode which is connected to the dash terminal of the battery. Very good. Negative terminal of the battery. That electrode is called as cathode. And the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as anode. So I hope you understood about these things, dear students. I think it is very easy for you to understand. I just once again I'm going to be discussed about this cathode ray experiment. Try to understand. Okay. Very fast. I'm just summarize this experiment. Okay. Now, so once the William Crook has found that this cathode rays means the rays which are emitted from the cathode and moves to the anode. The scientist whose name is J.J. Thomson, who was very much interested to study about the nature of the rays. Now what he did, he took some glass tube which is connected to the vacuum pump. Vacuum pump means I think you already know that in your home you can use that vacuum cleaner to remove something which is there on the carpet or something like that, to remove the gas which is there, which is filled inside the glass tube. He started take out that gas slowly outside to reduce the pressure. When the amount of gas is reduced within the glass tube, then what happens here? The pressure automatically decreases. So that is why he connected to the vacuum pump. And after that, what he did, he connected two electrodes on either side of the introduced two electrodes on either side of the glass tube, inside the glass tube. And now one is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and other one is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. And the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode. And now when he connected these two electrodes, now he started reducing the he filled the glass tube with the helium gas. After that, he started increasing the voltage up to 10,000 volt. He did not observe anything. but when he started decreasing the pressure around 0.001 atmospheric pressure, and he observed that as William Crook observed, there are some rays are emitted from the cathode. They are started emit from the cathode and they started moving toward the anode. They emit from toward the cathode and started moving toward the anode. Now what happens here? So after that, what he did to know the characteristics of these rays, he connected two electrodes on either side of the glass tube. Outside, he connected outside, and now one is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and other one is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. The electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery is called as anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode. When he connected, what he observed, instead of passing in a straight line, the rays have started bending towards anode. Anode is nothing but positively charged electrode. They are emitting from the cathode and they started moving toward the anode. So they started bending towards this anode, which is very close to this cathode. And now he understood that since in the nature oppositely charged particles are going to be attract each other, since these rays are bending toward the positively charged electrode, and he concluded that these rays are made up of a negatively charged particle, and he named that negatively charged particle as electron. He named that the negatively charged particle is nothing but electron. So this is what you call, this is leads to the discovery of a negatively charged particle, that is nothing but electron. Since these rays are emitting from the cathode, that rays are called as cathode ray. And the total experiment is conducted to get the cathode ray. So that's why this experiment is called as cathode ray experiment. Now, let me study now. He also listed some characteristics of the cathode rays. What are the properties of the cathode rays? Now, let's study one by one the properties of cathode rays. What exactly that cathode rays are made up of. Now, first he said that cathode rays are travel in straight line. We already studied the light travels in a straight line. That property is called as rectilinear properties. Since the light travels in straight line, how we know light travels in straight line? Whenever we are standing in the under the light, we get our shadow. That is the confirmation that the light travels in a straight line. If light did not travel in a straight line, we were not getting our shadow. So the same way what he did, he kept some object in the path of the cathode rays. When he kept some opaque object on the path of the cathode rays, as since they are moving in a straight line, he got the shadow of that opaque substance here. At the back side of that opaque substance on the screen, he got the shadow of that opaque substance. So from this he concluded that cathode rays travel in straight line. You can see here, when the cathode rays fall on this object, since this object oppose or will not allow the cathode rays to pass through it, so the shadow of this object is falling here. You can see here is the shadow of this object is going to be falling. From this experiment he concluded that cathode rays travel in straight line. If cathode rays were not traveling in straight line, if they cross this object like this and if they move, we were not getting this shadow of this object. So since we are getting the shadow of this object here, that is concluded that the G.G. Thomson concluded that the cathode rays travel in straight line. Cathode rays travel in straight line. I hope you understood. The first property of the cathode ray is that cathode rays travels in straight line. Let's see now the next property of the cathode ray. Cathode ray, what exactly J.J. Thomson told that cathode ray, it is not just a ray. It is made up of materialistic particles. Cathode ray is not just a ray like a light ray. It is made up of material particles. These rays consist of some particles. They are not just like a light. But light is not a consist of particle. It is just a ray. How you know? If you keep any object to the light, it won't show any action. But to confirm this, whether these cathode rays are just rays or a materialistic particle, what exactly J.J. Thomson did? He kept a pedal in the path of the cathode rays. A pedal in the path of the cathode rays. When the cathode rays fall on this pedal, that pedal immediately start to rotate. That pedal immediately start to rotate. Since the pedal is started to rotate, how it is rotate? When the particle is go and hit to that pedal, the pedal start rotate. If it is not to consist of particle, if it is only made up of light ray, the pedal was not rotating. Since the pedal is rotating, because this rays consist of particle and they keep on hitting on this pedal, the pedal is started rotating. So from this he concluded that cathode ray is not only just a ray, it is made up of materialistic particle. It is just made up of materialistic particle. I hope you understood that. A second property is that cathode rays consist of material particles. Now, let's see the third property of this cathode rays, that what exactly J.J. Thomson says that cathode rays originate from cathode. As we already seen from the experiment, cathode rays are originate from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode. Since they are consist of negatively charged particle, they are originate from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode. Originate from the cathode and they are moving towards the anode, because oppositely charged particles are attracted here. Since cathode rays is made up of negatively charged particle and they are attracted towards the positively charged electrode, so the cathode is the rays is travel from cathode to anode, means cathode rays originate from cathode. This is the third property of cathode rays. I hope you understood now. Next property, what he says, cathode rays deflected by electric field. Deflection and attraction. Attraction means they attract towards something, and deflection means when we bring something, it is going to be deflect. When the cathode rays is subjected to electric field, means when we keep in between the electric field, they started deflected by cathode. They are deflected by cathode and attracted towards the anode. As we seen, when the rays pass in a straight line, as J.J. Thomson what he did, he applied electric field on either side of the glass tube by connecting two electrodes outside the glass tube. Now the electrode which is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, as we already know that anode, and the electrode which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery is called as cathode. Now when he subjected the rays to the electric field, outside electric field, what he observed, the ray is deflected by cathode. The rays are deflected by cathode and attracted towards anode. See, you can see here the ray is moving away from the cathode. From here, one cathode is there. It is moving away from this cathode, but it is moving towards the anode. Why this deflection means? As we already know that in nature, like charges repel each other. Like charges repel each other. As we know, these rays are made up of negatively charged particle, and cathode rays connected, and cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. This cathode is also completely filled with negatively charged particle. Here also negatively charged particle is there. Here also negatively charged particle is there. Since they are same charge, they repel each other. They repel each other. So the rays are repel each other. Okay, they are deflected by cathode. They are deflected by cathode. I hope you understood that. What is the this characteristics of this cathode ray? What he said, cathode rays are deflected by electric field. Cathode rays are deflected by electric field. And next, what he said, cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles called electron. Cathode rays consist of a negatively charged particle. That particle is called as electron. As we know that since the cathode rays are emitted from the cathode and moving towards the anode, they are attracted toward the positively terminals of the positively charged electrode. Of course, there is no doubt in that the rays must be made up of negatively charged particle. Absolutely. Since it is attracted toward the positively charged electrode, the rays must be made up of negatively charged particle. So since oppositely charged particle are going to be attract each other, so that's why he stated that cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles called electron. These are the properties of some properties of cathode rays. We just since it is bending towards this, we already know that. Now these are the some properties of the cathode rays we discussed today, that is cathode rays originate from cathode rays travels in straight line, cathode rays deflected by electric field, cathode rays is also deflected by magnetic field also. When you bring the magnetic field also, the rays is going to be what you call deflected. Tomorrow if possible I will try to show this one. So these rays are consist of materialistic particle. We already know that we kept a pedal and that is going to be start rotate. Cathode rays consist of negatively charged particle called as electron. So these are the some properties of the cathode rays. I hope you understood that today's class, that how exactly the electron is discovered by dash. Who discovered electron? J.J. Thomson discovered electron. And by seeing after this video, try to understand the assignment what I am going to be sent. Thank you dear. Thank you so much.